Homeland Security now says that tens of thousands of green cards have simply vanished. Nobody knows where they are. Speaking of terror problems, an Inspector General report, says that some of those green cards were sent with incorrect information and even sent to the wrong addresses. The fear, obviously, is they could fall into the hands of terrorists, criminals, or people who are here illegally. Here now is Fox's Geraldo Rivera to respond to the story, our roaming correspondent. Geraldo, is this, as if we need to get another example of federal ineptitude, but what I'm kind of surprised to see is how the Immigration and Naturalization Service tried to downplay this. Oh, it's not that big a deal. We don't really get that many wrong. This is a big deal, isn't it? Well,
they got 19,000 wrong specifically. Yeah. And it was a significant bureaucratic screw-up. There's no way to sugarcoat it. They sent out duplicate green cards, so everybody of these 19,000 who deserved a green card got 2 of them, one they could give to their brother or someone who looked like them. They have no evidence, however, as of right now, Tucker, that any of these have gone to anyone ineligible to receive them. So I want to put the story in context. I think there are problems, obviously, with the immigration system. Donald Trump, in his 2.5-minute video in which he laid out his plan for the first 100 days of his administration, he talked about dealing with immigration abuses. He has to obviously also have to deal with immigration authority incompetence. But in the big picture, with the hundreds of thousands, the millions of people who come and go, this isn't the end of the world. Again, I don't want to downplay it, but there are plenty of bigger fish to fry, and I think that visa overstays, for instance, are a far more serious problem than this.
You may be absolutely right. I guess why this story struck me is because it's illustrative of what happens here all the time. So today, in one of those bitter ironies we've become familiar with in Washington, the president issued bonuses, or made possible bonuses for federal employees for the first time in 6 years. Here's what the IG report said. I'm quoting. The report found that the percentage of green cards issued in error has steadily increased each year since the system was put into place. Nobody's done anything about it because, let's be totally blunt, the people who run the administration don't really believe in citizenship as a meaningful category. They don't really care.
I hate to be cynical, I hate to be skeptical, but to me, bonuses and for people in areas of civil service generally are an oxymoron. I think that the whole notion that one civil servant gives a bonus to another civil servant in some kind of bizarre parallel with private industry is really way off the mark. But I will say this, and I think that this is very important, Tucker, particularly because I know that this is an issue near and dear to your heart. And as your pal, I like to give due deference to that.
Well, I appreciate
what did Donald Trump not talk about in that 2.5-minute video? He did not talk about building a wall on the southern border with Mexico. He did not talk about restricting Muslim immigration. So I am heartened by, just as he has chosen, apparently, not to persecute Hillary Clinton, likewise, now that he sees the enormity of the task he is facing, has wisely put things like the wall and Muslim exclusion on the far back burner, and I just hope it stays there. This now is emerging as the Donald Trump that I know and have known for decades.
Well, of course, the other way to look at it might be that those things are just a given, and there's no reason to talk about them in the video. And I would also note, by the way, that he didn't decline to persecute Hillary Clinton, but to prosecute Hillary Clinton. There's nothing wrong with holding people accountable to the laws of the United States. That's called, equal justice, no?
I think I absolutely disagree with that. I think just as President Ford, when he took office, recognized that the persecution of Richard Nixon would not be in the best interest of the nation, I think so too President-elect Donald Trump has seen in the sober reflection of his triumph that the going after Hillary Rodham Clinton right now would not be in the best interest of the country. He's got his hands full, and he hates Saturday Night Live, Donald Trump. But I think that when Alec Baldwin was confronted by some of these realities in the mockery of Saturday Night Live and him playing Donald Trump, and he said, scrap it, scrap it. I think you're going to see a lot of scrap it, as Donald Trump, the businessman, the guy who has made such a great success of himself and his family, now takes that business acumen and applies it as chief executive of the nation.
In the sober reflection of his triumph. Boy, you're one articulate man, Geraldo Rivera. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving.